Hey, I'm back. We're in chapter 5 and we're working on color in the textbook Adobe Photoshop Creative Cloud Revealed. And in this exercise, we're going to work with the color picker. We're going to work in the same image we've been working in, which is the basketball star. We're going to click the Set Foreground Color button on the Tools panel. We're going to verify that the H option button is selected in the color picker dialog box. And then we're going to drag the slider to the vertical color bar on the vertical color bar to the midpoint. We're going to click the R option button. We're going to click the bottom right corner of the color field, purple, as shown in figure 10. And then if the warning out of gamut for printing indicator appears, which would be this little warning, next to the color, then this color is outside the printable range of colors. Now, if we can click on this and it will bring us to a printable range of colors, but you can see how significantly different that color is just on the screen than it is the printable versus what we had actually chosen. And I'm just going to take a minute to remind you that this would be an instance where if you really, you and your client had really determined that that was the color for you and you couldn't create it with a 4-color process, then that might be a swatch color or a color that you would want to buy from a pre-mixed ink from like Pantone or something like that. And we do get into that later as well. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. And then we're going to click the Swatches panel option button. So we want to get to the swatches, and I'm going to pull this over here so we can actually see it. And then we are going to click this down facing option, and we're going to click Reset Swatches. And then we're going to click OK in the warning box. We're going to click the third swatch from the right in the second row. Yeah, that's just not, when I reset my swatches, maybe if I make it a little bit more like they've got it here. Okay, so did you notice that I just clicked and drug and made it a little bit wider to reflect the same layout that they've got here? So we're going to go up here to Pastel Red Orange, and we're going to click on it. And then you'll see that the foreground color on the Tools panel changed to the Pastel Orange, Red Orange as well. We're going to click the Paint Bucket tool if necessary, and then we're going to click the image and make sure you're still on the background layer, and you'll see that the color then changes to what we just placed in the foreground color box. Now we're going to add a new color to the swatches panel. We're going to get the eyedropper tool on the Tools panel, which remember is I, or you can click on it to select it. We're going to click the palm leaf on the boy's shirt. So if you look right down here, in fact, I think I'll zoom in just a little bit so we're sure we're right where we want to be. And the coordinates are at about 310 and 348. And then we're going to scroll down the swatches panel, and we're going to click the empty area to the right of the last swatch that's right at the bottom of this panel. And you'll see that a dialog box jumps up with that green in it, and we are going to name this particular color palm leaf. Click OK. And there our palm leaf is added to the swatches panel. Now to delete a color from the swatches panel, we're going to press Alt if you're on a Windows or Option if you're on a Mac, and we're going to position the scissors pointer over the swatch. So we are going to look for the scissors. I think that's under the eraser. Nope. Well, again, I'm going to need to look for it for a moment, so I'll be back in just a second. All right, sorry to take a while, but let's again go back to delete, which is a tip. To delete a color from the swatches panel, you're going to press Alt if you're on a Windows, Option if you're on a Mac. And then what I found out is no matter what tool I'm in or you're in, if you hold down the Alt or Option and then over the swatches panel, it automatically becomes the scissors. So I like all of these colors, but I'll just click and that automatically deletes it. All right, now in selecting colors and color panels, it's quite easy to get overwhelmed with all of the colors that are available to you. So we're going to show you a an application called Kuler, K-U-L-E-R, and I believe I've already got a sign in, but we'll check it here. Now let's go to the correct kuler.adobe.com. Click sign in. See if I can remember this. And then we are going to, and if you may want to take a minute and put me on hold and go and set up a Kuler account if you don't have one already. You can click the register link and follow the instructions. Now we're going to go to Explore on the Kuler menu, and we're going to type in Johnny Cash Tribute. Press enter or return. And this is very similar to what the themes that are are showing. So now we want to place our mouse over the swatch indicated in figure 14, which is the top right swatch. And then we are going to, I'm going to have to move this over so we can see it all. We are going to try to download this. All right, guys, I went on a search mission because in the textbook it indicates that you have a download button, but on mine it doesn't. So the only way I was able to save it was to just copy the link, and then I guess you would just put the link in, and then put the link in a document, bring it back, and then you would have to copy the colors, I guess, because I was not able to figure out how to download the color theme. If I can figure that out, I will get back to you on that. Let's try this though. Let's try using Kuler from Photoshop. So let's go to Window on the menu bar, point to Extensions, and then click Kuler. Yeah, see here all kinds of themes, but I can't seem to find the Johnny Cash tribute, right? And that does bring it up here, so maybe that's why you don't have to download that link. So now let's go back to what the textbook tells us to do. We're going to click Kuler, although again I'm going to close this out because I want to see if it has a Kuler extension to it. If you go to Window, go to Extensions, and again no Kuler, but if you click on Adobe Color Themes, that did for me bring up the Kuler theme Johnny Cash tribute that we were looking at previously. In the search text box this time though, we are going to type in maroon and press enter if you're on a Windows, or return if you're on a Mac. And then let's take a look and see what we get by comparison. Very similar. I have the multi-maroon, maroon flower, so again obviously these are bringing up cooler color options. The Kuler panel may differ as themes, because of the use by everybody, the themes do change frequently. So we are going to click on a maroon theme that is available. I guess I'll try with just I kind of like this multi-maroon. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to add this to my swatches. And you'll see that in my library it is added. Let's bring up my swatches to see if it's actually added to my swatches as well. And yes, it is. There it is at the bottom. All right, so in the swatches panel now we can close out the cooler window now if you have not done that so far. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to reset essentials to try and get some of this stuff put away. All right. So we're looking for the swatches panel now, and in the swatches panel we're going to click the color box for F2C A80. And just pick some other color of your choice if that color isn't available to you. I was just going to run it over here to see if I could see that color. I'm going to take Multi Maroon 4 instead. And you want to verify that the background layer of your document is active, which it is. And then we're going to get the paint bucket tool and we're going to click to add that color to our background. Now we're going to do a Command or Control S to save our work. Now in this exercise, next lesson, we're going to place a border around an image. So we are going to click the indicates layer visibility button on the background layer to hide that layer. I'm going to click over here and now you'll see that image is gone. We're going to click the default foreground and background colors button, which is right over here at the bottom of your tools panel. We're going to click the Hoopster layer on the layers panel. And we're going to lock the transparent pixels on that layer by clicking on this button, which is right here. And you'll see that little lock icon come up the side of your layers panel. Now we're going to go to Edit on the menu bar. We're going to click Stroke. And that will open a stroke dialog box. We're going to verify that 1 pixel displays in the width, which it does. We're going to click the outside option. And then we're going to click OK. Now determining the correct border location can be confusing. The default stroke width is the setting last applied, and you can apply a width anywhere from 1 to 150 pixels. You can, again, depending on the size of the image, obviously something are going to look fine, other things are going to look too small or too large. So you can try just different settings until you achieve the look you want. We are going to click the indicates layer visibility button on the background layer. And a border has been added to the image. Now we're going to Command or Control S to save our file. Now we're going to blend colors using the gradient tool. You want to verify that the eyedropper tool is selected. We're going to click the blue shirt in the image at coordinates 250x by 300y. And then we're going to click the Switch Foreground and Background Color in the Tools panel. We're going to click the Maroon swatch in the Swatches panel. Or one of the swatches that you've added is fine. We are going to click on the Indicates Layer Visibility button on the Hoopster layer to hide it. And then make sure that the background layer is active, which it is. Now we're going to click the Paint Bucket tool on the Tools panel and press and hold the mouse until the tools open. We're going to click the Gradient tool. And then we're going to click the Angle Gradient button on the Options bar if it's not already selected. Now we're going to click the Gradient Picker list arrow on the Options bar. And then we are going to double click the foreground to background gradient fill. It's the first row in the first column. All right, I'm back. I had been working with gradients previously, and so the gradients that I was showing in my window were not the gradients that the textbook had indicated should be showing. So I just paused for a moment, and what I did was come over here and went back to resetting gradients to the default gradient, and now you'll see that here is the gradient that we were looking for. Now we are going to apply the gradient fill by getting the gradient tool. And then we're going to drag the gradient pointer from 75x, 75y, to 575x and 575 or 710y. And we're using the info panel and the guides to help us create this gradient. And there we go. Now you want to make the little basketball star visible. Do a Command or Control S to save your work. And I think this will do it for Chapter 5 unless you have additional requests. I will see you next in Chapter 6. Thanks and have a great day.